Hello and good morning, listeners. Welcome back to Almus Market Mornings as we begin the week with a new set of updates for the financial markets with Jayaram Krishnamurthy. Now, folks, it seems the US economy is heavily influenced by the younger generation as it continues to give mixed signals. Friday, the PMI data released for both manufacturing and services were better than expected. On the contrary, we saw Europe's PMI fell to its lowest levels for the year and even below expectations. Now, this was on the global front, but if we have to talk about the domestic front, the currency remained stable with the central bank's presence seen again. Although it was the another regulator which has sprung into action over the weekend, the SEBI's act of search and seizure at the Quant Mutual Fund. So, JK, what's your take on these set of developments, and if you can share any other development that we should be looking forward for?
Yeah, good morning. The dollar is definitely coming to a very crucial inflection point, I would say. Uh, on the euro, we are closing in on the base of the range at 1.06. Offshore yuan is closer to the psychological 7.30 mark, and dollar yen at near about 160. It doesn't touch this time, but it in a whisker distance of 160. So it's all like any break of any of these can create more volatility in the currency market. 160 breaking will definitely tell upon the Chinese currency also. Then of course rupee may not be totally immune to those moves, and the French elections in the coming weekend, followed by the second round on 7th July. These are also creating some sort of jitters in the European market. Now, what is driving these yen dollar newfound strength is one is the uh, reversal in the data trend. US, we had been seeing quite a weakness in the US data recently, but the PMI on Friday really surprised both on the services and the manufacturing side. Job growth was good in the data. The price pressures were less. On the contrary, in Europe, particularly the French political situation has seems to have impacted the outlook, and the big drop in the new orders. That's affecting. And in Japan, the market's confidence about taking on the Bank of Japan, because their big intervention has failed so far, and they will be very reluctant to use monetary policy tool to address the yen. So market is day by day getting more confidence on the yen N2, and Chinese fundamentally, as well as on the flow side, it is very negatively impacted. So all this keeping the dollar index strong. But what impact on INR so far? You see the RBI's actions in thwarting any weakness in the rupee to be sustained is actually led to some sort of a sentiment that among the corporates and also investors that the rupee will not weaken, and that's the reason why you see importers shying away whenever we are above 83.60, and then on the even the flows are not held back by investors. So that's the reason why rupee is not. But can this situation continue? Depends, I think, more on the global situation. If that were to weaken, other currencies, then rupee may not be immune. Again, depends on how far the central bank lets it go. It's difficult to see a very big fall in the rupee. Even in case such a thing happens, it may be a very controlled movement lower towards 83.80. Is all I can see in the short term. So that's for the rupee, and the dollar index. Of course, as I said, the crucial levels will hold. The risk sentiment is definitely on the edge because of the uncertainty in political scene in Europe, as well as the Chinese data, which is not really helping. This week we have another indicator on inflation from US, the PCE core inflation on Friday. Ahead of that, we will have another estimate of GDP growth. Some people are already talking about, they've forgotten Q1. They say, let's look at Q2 and the improvement seen in the PMIs. They're probably looking at GDP in US improving in this quarter. So all said and done, people are looking at US exceptionalism being sustained and other economies having their own problems. So that is what is the picture in the currency market. Rupee, as I said, is as of now a picture of stability. Stock market wobbles, unlikely to really shake the rupee much, mainly because of the central bank's presence. So let's see a week full of actions till the weekend elections. So we'll wait and see what BOJ does and what Chinese central bank. Thank you.
Okay, JK, that's good. So yes, folks, so we see USD at an inflection point, and the key points to make look out for in case of Japanese yen is 160, in case of CN it's 7.3, euro 1.06. So there are quite a set of currencies which are at its inflection points against the USD, and can set different sorts of expectations for the market participants. Having said that, one of the key sentiment that, as JK mentioned, we've been observing among the market participants has been the sentiment that INR may not weaken much. It only time shall tell how things would go. But as JK mentioned, not significant depreciation for INR can be observed over the period of time, if at all any comes in. For the week, yes, folks, we have the PC core estimate as well as the GDP growth data to be released for the US economy, which the market participants are very keenly waiting for. So we shall come back with those sort of updates as we progress during the week. That's it for today, folks. Thank you so much for joining in.